Imagine you're a Green Party voter. You love open borders. You've got your reusable tote bag. You've signed every petition. And then Reform UK knocks on your door and says, "Brilliant. We're building a migrant detention center in your back garden." That is not a joke. That is literally the policy. And honestly, it might be the most savage political move of 2026. Welcome back to British Reform, where today we are unpacking one of the boldest, most unapologetically direct campaign announcements in recent British political history. Buckle up. So here's what happened. Reform UK says it will build detention centers to hold up to 24,000 migrants awaiting deportation at any one time. And Yusuf, Reform's Home Affairs spokesman, has pledged that none of the new centers will be built in areas that elect Reform councils or MPs. So far, standard stuff. But then comes the twist. Yusuf said, "A Reform government will not put any migrant detention facilities in any constituency with a Reform MP. Nor will we put them where Reform controls the council. And of the remaining areas, we will prioritize Green-controlled parliamentary constituencies and Green-controlled councils." Read that again. Slowly. Reform is telling the British public, point blank, vote for us, you're safe. Vote Green, you're getting the detention center. That's not a manifesto. That's a threat wrapped in a policy announcement, delivered with a smile. And it gets better. Because Reform didn't just say it. They built a website for it. The announcement is accompanied by a dedicated website, votegreengetillegals.com, which includes a postcode checker allowing users to see whether their area would be prioritized to receive a detention center under the policy. A postcode checker. You can literally type in your postcode right now and find out whether your street is earmarked for a detention center based on how your neighbors are expected to vote. This is politics in 2026. And it is absolutely unhinged in the best possible way. Now, let's talk about why this is so politically clever. The Greens have built their entire brand on open borders, welcoming migrants, and a kind of idealistic no borders, no limits worldview. Yusuf put it directly, saying people will get what they vote for. If the Greens want open borders, they can take responsibility and have the detention centers in their own constituencies. Reform is essentially turning the Greens' own policy position into a political liability and handing it back to them with a bow on top. It's the political equivalent of saying, "You ordered it, you eat it." And the timing is surgical. This announcement landed just days before Thursday's local elections, the senedd vote in Wales, and the Scottish Parliament elections, all happening simultaneously. Polling suggests that out of the 5,000 seats up for election on Thursday, as many as 1,600 could go to Reform and 700 to the Greens. So Reform fires this bombshell into the campaign with just days to go, forcing every Green candidate in the country to either defend open borders on the doorstep or awkwardly distance themselves from their own platform. There is no good answer for them. That's the point. Now, of course, the establishment couldn't let this one slide without their obligatory pearl clutching. Labour Party Chair Anatoly called it a grotesque policy that reveals Reform's contempt for all voters, including their own, arguing that threatening to punish places that don't vote a certain way is a betrayal of basic democratic principles. Right, because apparently pointing out the consequences of voting for a party that supports infinite migration is now a democratic outrage. Labour, the same party currently losing a civil war over who gets to replace a prime minister nobody voted to keep, that Labour is lecturing Reform on democratic principles. Stunning. The Green Party's deputy leader Muthing Ali said Reform keep making abhorrent announcement to distract voters from what he claims is a plan to privatize the NHS. The NHS card. Every single time. You could announce that it's going to rain on Tuesday and the Greens would find a way to blame NHS privatization. The deflection is almost impressive. But here's the thing that the outrage commentators are conveniently ignoring. Reform's planned Mass Deportation and Detention Act would give ministers absolute discretion over the siting of new detention centers, removing current planning protections and offering no legal right to appeal. That is a serious piece of proposed legislation. Not a stunt, not a tweet, a structured legal framework for actually doing what they are promising. Whether you agree with the policy or not, you cannot accuse Reform of not being specific. They are telling you exactly what they are going to do, exactly where they're going to do it, and they've built a website so you can check your postcode. That is more transparency than we've had from Labour in 18 months. And zooming out for a moment, this is what the 2026 political landscape actually looks like. Between Reform on the right and the Greens on the hard left, the centre parties, Labour, the Conservatives, and the Liberal Democrats, face an electoral meltdown, with polling suggesting Britain could look very politically different within a week. The political centre is collapsing. The two parties growing fastest are the ones with the clearest, boldest identities. Reform knows exactly what it stands for. The Greens know exactly what they stand for. The mushy middle? Nobody can tell you. So as the votes get counted on Thursday night, keep your eyes on the numbers. Reform is polling as Britain's #1 party. The Greens are surging locally. And somewhere in Westminster, Labour MPs are frantically texting each other about a leadership contest while their party burns. It's quite a week. Stay locked into British Reform, because whether it's local elections, a Labour leadership coup, or a website where you can check if your postcode gets a detention centre, we are covering all of it. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.